Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about scoring. Now, there's two main terms that you'll probably hear in regards to scoring, and that's going to be in-game scoring and end-game scoring. Now, end-game scoring occurs when the game is completely over, so everyone has finished all of their turns and all of the rounds are done. So any scoring that happens at the very end of the game after everything else is finished is called end-game scoring. In-game scoring can occur at different points throughout the game, whether it's while you're playing, at the end of a round or end of a turn, or basically any time before the end of the game. So any scoring that occurs before the end of the game is considered in-game scoring. Each game has its own way of keeping score. Some games have score sheets for you to use. Some games you have a score tracker on a game board that you're using, and some games include individual score trackers for each player to use and keep track of their scores. Not all games have in-game scoring and end-game scoring. There's some games that only have end-game scoring, where you don't do any type of scoring until after the game is completely finished. Some games, however, do have in-game scoring and end-game scoring, so you're kind of scoring points as you play the game, and then at the end of the game, usually there's objectives or certain things that you're going to be using to add to your score at the end of the game. Let's jump into the Castles of Burgundy to give you guys examples of some in-game scoring and end-game scoring and how it looks as you move through a game. In the Castles of Burgundy, there's several ways that we can score points throughout the game, and this is going to be our in-game scoring. So we can finish a group of tiles. For example, if I placed this tile here, I would finish this colored group of tan tiles, and I would get points according to what round we're in and how many tiles were in that group. Another way I could score points throughout the game is by selling goods. So these goods right over here, if I'm able to sell these goods, I get points for selling those, and I would take that along our score tracker on the board. These tiles up here are also end-game scoring. Those are trophies that you can earn for covering each tile of that color in your duchy. If you are able to cover all of that color in your duchy, you just take this tile and put it on your board, and this will give you extra points at the end of the game. Alright, so now that we've talked a little bit about in-game scoring and end-game scoring, tell me in the comments what you guys prefer when you're playing a game. Do you like games where you're keeping track of your score and scoring throughout the game? Or do you prefer games that just have end-game scoring and you don't know how other players are doing or necessarily how you're doing until the very end of the game? Personally, I prefer games that have in-game scoring and end-game scoring. I like being able to watch my score progress throughout the game, and you can kind of see how you're doing against the other players. So I definitely like having in-game scoring as a mechanism in the game that we're playing. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the Adventure Squad down below for more board game information, how to plays, and board game playthroughs. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, get your game on. Are you listening? Did that make any sense what I just said?